精彩的 BO3，到底 OMG 跟老干爹谁能够取下最后一张票？天哪，这个也是够纠结的。现场观众应该连上厕所的功夫都没有，我们也没有，我们也，我们是没有。
All right, guys, we are back. It all comes down to this. At least for OMG and LGD, can LGD come up with the better strat like they had in game number 1? Can they outplay, or will it be OMG finally taking what many consider to be their rightful place in the World Championships? They have been looking a bit shaky, though. Frostgren, what do you think?
OMG is certainly on the downturn, at least in certain aspects of their team play. That said, San, Dada7 stepping up to the plate. We keep saying it over and over again. This was supposed to be the weakest point of OMG in their bot lane, and so far it's actually been the carry. That said, Zilean should be contested, taken away. I think it was a huge point of success for OMG that game, what Cool was able to do with that champion, what that champion is able to do for and against Chinese teams, especially Wayless on that Ahri right there, was completely shut down.
Yeah, and that's not something we expected. In all honesty, Wayless feeling very confident. They had a solid team composition, but as time wore on, you could see that they just were not up to fighting against OMG's front line. That was insane. And they proved they're still relevant. Troubles aside, this is an incredibly powerful team and, you know, historically the dominant force in China.
It's really a matter of OMG is not playing up to expected performance, and LGD is playing far past what anyone expected to see from this team. We've always said that, you know, they have potential XQ. Give this guy a few splits and he will be one of the top contending AD carries in the world. Needs to increase his champion pool a little bit, pull out some of those hyper carries. Maybe a Kog'Maw, take that away from San, but it's always been about potential but not finding the execution, and finally to see that all come together.
It's really a treat to see that, actually. I've really been excited that LGD has been able to step up to the plate, but so has OMG's bot lane. Like, the typically weaker sides of the equation, when it matters, have been coming out in force, and these games have been absolutely phenomenal as a result of it. I think Chuan needs to just avoid Lee Sin at this point, though. It seems to carry some bad luck with it.
It's miscommunication, mistiming, just going in too hard on Lee Sin and getting punished instantaneously. I think the Elise is working out with him because he could kind of stall long enough his own demise with the repel that his team is able to get in position and kind of affect his own outplays.
Do you think 17 goes for the Gragas again? He's pretty much played it exclusively today, so it has been useful with the ults, but they haven't had enough burst, and there was so much magic damage already that you wonder maybe he would have done better with an AD or even just a tankier top laner.
I think his performance on Gragas has been fine. That was definitely not the point at which LGD lost. It was really just two different play styles, and OMG just had the counter to what LGD were trying to do. Again, finding those win conditions and making sure that they aren't met. Yeah, the Gragas pick has been coming out a lot, but it's been working for 17. I think his performance has been great. Do you see San right now on screen? Looking a little bit perplexed.
Yeah, I mean, these games have been anything but easy to call, that's for certain, and it is anybody's guess who will be the 3rd seed for Worlds. But we will find out after this. We're in picks and bans. Aurelia Yasuo taken away. Also, no tree this game.
So OMG will have Purple Side this time around. Purple Side actually has a higher win percentage in China due to counter picking being so prevalent.
They consider it to be the stronger one in general as well. No Alistar as well. I think that's something that you definitely have to take away just because of the first pick potential, even though Going has been rocking. Yeah, PYL also has been an incredible Alistar player, one of the few support Alistars, and okay, the Evelyn ban, respect against Loveling.
They have to ban Zilean here.
Yeah,
they can't afford to give that away.
But this opens a lot up for Wayless. There's almost nothing been focused on him, and they go for the instant Orianna hover, putting a lot of emphasis on that mid, and they go for it.
Makes sense. See what OMG is going to respond with. I expect to see a Rise pick up.
I mean, there's no reason not to, but wow, really? Hovering on the... Yeah, I thought so. They swap it over out of Twisted Fate, but they might go for it anyways. Cool. Has been known occasionally to put on his Messiah t-shirt. Oh, that's a cute kid.
It's Teemo.
Well, I hope it's not actually, because I would hate to see that I was looking into the face of evil.
Oh, shots fired.
Not a fan of Teemo. Oh, switch up to Thresh. Okay, there we go. That's a good choice for Dada.
I was gonna say, I'm just very on edge about this Twisted Fate pickup coming out in the possibly the most important game of the OMG organization's career.
It's a toss-up, isn't it?
It can either go one way or the other, and there's been varied mixed success on it throughout the LPL season.
Yeah, now the Braum choice for PYL would be kind of nice as well. I think they want to get that combination in for XQ. They have had a lot of success when they've been able to proc Winter's Bite, the concussive blows, very easily, and they will go for that lock-in. Prioritized, once again, by LGD.
Now, the issue with XQ is that his champion pool is actually relatively small as far as the AD carries are concerned. PYL has come out and say, you know, we don't let him play Tristana because I don't like how he plays Tristana, so he plays a lot of Lucian, a lot of Graves, and then occasionally you'll see a Jinx and a Vayne make their way in there, but you don't see a lot of Kog'Maw, you don't see a lot of Tristana, you don't see these hyper carries that are really important. Speaking of hyper carry, Son hovering over that fantastic Kog'Maw performance he had last game.
It'll be hard to follow that act. We'll see if he manages it this time. Loveling will be going towards the Bugman. Kha'Zix's locked in. A very popular choice, especially with him kind of getting a little bit more buffs in the last few patches. Now, Chuen wanting Lee Sin again, but last time it wasn't nearly as effective, and I would have loved to see him go back to Elise.
It would also be a bit more of a versatile ball delivery service with Elise as opposed to Lee Sin. We do see 17 looking back for his Gragas. Oh, wait.
Last minute? Wow. Alright. They're going to go for it. Jarvan is locked in, however, for Chuen. I think that's probably a better choice. If you look at the way this comp works, it's a little bit wonky because you have the 17 barrel. But, you know, placement, displacement, you do want the ball delivery service. And I think that's a little bit better, a little bit more guaranteed with the Jarvan.
I just like the fact that they picked up a hard engage. It was something that their team needed in conjunction with the Braum ultimate. So they have the disengage, they have the hard engage. You have your wombo combo.
Yep. Wow, cool busting out the Ahri.
Big favorite for him.
Yeah. I want to see how this mid lane goes. It's going to be a very safe opener, but I would expect there to be quite a lot of focus early on from these jungles to go to that mid lane. We'll have to see if that works, if that's how it goes. But we'll take a quick commercial break, and when we get back, we'll be into game. So, could be the final one. Final one for these two teams. One's going to Worlds, one's going home. Let's find out who. Alright guys, here we are on to Summoner's Rift. It will, of course, be the last time of the night for these two teams. OMG, well, OMG, they nearly get a pick off onto XQ right away. That was a little something.
This is why we don't face check bushes. Again, this game is so important. Actually very curious that we're seeing such an invade come out and that they're not playing just a line of scrimmage here.
Yep, oh, going. Careful now. This is, yeah, really crazy early action. Unlike all the line of scrimmages we've been seeing. LGD really wants to take the fight. OMG wants it more, but Going's a little too low to sustain this.
It's into a level 1 Braum, which is pretty much suicide. That champion's level 1 is absurdly strong. So, placing the wards, maybe they're trying to get a lane swap. They need to do something with that information because they effectively risk their lives for it.
Yeah, and everyone's going to get out okay, but that was a lot of unnecessary risk. Not too many deep wards placed. They just got a couple around the red buff pit, so they will be able to see when that does go down. But, I mean, I guess you have to assume there's no lane swap happening. No reason to. Neither of these teams have really favored it. Son and Dada have stepped up in such a way that there's no need to really protect them early on.
See if they're able to continue that Kog'Maw hype train here. Both junglers starting on the bottom side of the map, so likewise, OMG kind of breaking from habit, pulling and leashing their bot lane for their jungle.
Yeah, and I think they want to get a little bit ahead early on. Loveling has shown that he has had some issues with making early plays, and when you've got Chuen on, Jarvan, historically the only other champion from Lee Sin that was sort of successful for him or even thought of for him, you got to be careful. There is a lot of wombo combo available here in a lot of ways. In the early laning phase, XQ PYL are going to combine for some pretty scary damage if Leveling doesn't get some help there and Dada doesn't zone correctly. Everything is very nice and easy defensive, though, to begin. So we will have to see if they want to make some early plays. I think they're confident in just playing it out nice and easy to begin with, just because there's no reason to give up a big lead. There's no reason to risk it. LGD don't have to do much either because they have a really great late game anyways.
Late games, there's a lot of power spikes across the board for both teams, like you said. Just about seeing who's going to make the mistakes into these laning phases. If Cool was able to get the roam on with his Ahri, affect his lanes, obviously he was looking at Twisted Fate, so that is somewhat the strategy.
Yeah, Dada's actually providing a decent bit of zone here. PYL face tanking a little bit more. Hook's going to land on him, however, and that's going to be Dada going in trying to make the play. They're going for PYL, but the Winter's Bite procs are going to be enough. Summer Heal already burned. Dada, what were you thinking? There was no need to hook into that.
Gets punished by the early level Braum as well as the poke from Lucian
and
here.
Here comes Chuen too. Oh, they're pushed forward right now. Lantern is available. They do see it coming. Oh, they're going to face check right into it. No, they didn't. Hello, Winter's Bite proc on Son. He's got Ignite taken away. That's going to be first blood picked up by PYL. And wow, really nicely played out. And Chuen might be able to find Dada. Oh, he gets ignited too with the tower damage. Dada's getting away.
With 2 HP, look at that.
Yeah, now Chuen's going to have to flag and drag out of here. This is dangerous. They're setting up the baits. Oh my goodness! Leveling, they miss on him as he gets the leap away in the flash. Oh, that was close. Setting up the trap, narrowly avoiding it. Wow.
Brilliant play. Get the stand behind me across the wall right there, and a nice sidestep on the Kha'Zix W to avoid most of that burst damage.
Yeah, Leveling has been playing this mechanically very good, very well, but I am a little bit worried for the rest of OMG. Giving up that kill was completely unnecessary. Dada spent a lot just to stay alive in his initial foray into that. However, despite him being set behind a little bit, Son's still doing well enough on this Cogmine lane.
A lot of that comes down to the blame of Dada 7 in particular, though. Has the power of the Lantern and didn't use it effectively.
Yeah, well, he was pretty zoned out, too, and had to, like, run for his life, run for the hills.
He also walked into Lee Sin.
Yeah, I mean, that was just absolutely atrocious. So, 17, going, gonna duke it out in the top. We've seen this matchup pretty much consistently now. 17 might want that I beat Going's Rise medal, though. I don't think he wants to duel him for it. That is not a lot of health he's got to work with.
Well, they should be very practiced in this matchup by this time around.
Yeah, I think it's kind of become a level of finesse that both teams should just be able to execute what they're doing. Chuen, talk about him. He did make that move down bot. It really helped result in the first blood. Not a lot gained off the back of it, but it is very early on. There is some ward coverage in the brushes going out here for OMG. And so far, it's still been a relatively even game, despite all the action.
What the first blood translate to, and the fact that it went on PYL, the captain, is the fact that, like you said, he gets the Sightstone, so he gets that early ward coverage.
I think that was deliberate.
Yeah, well, no. But
yeah, no, they totally did that on purpose.
I tried to deadpan it, but I don't think it came across that way. But the fact that it's on the captain of the team, that it provides safety for his lane, I think is very important.
Oh. Chuen finds Cool, but yeah, at this point, you're not going to be able to do much than just slap a little bit of the HP bar down. It's hard to set up picks this early on without the full skill sets available, and I think these teams are just going to look for little openers that they might be able to set something up on, but they just don't have the damage.
Meanwhile, across the board, CS pretty even except for in that mid lane.
Yeah,
47 to 37. Cool starting, excuse me, Wayless starting to build
Wayless
quite a bit of breath on Cool.
Lantern back, Son. This is the power of a Thresh support.
Lesson.
Yeah, he's playing a lot better. It was sort of like a falling into bad habits, but now he's doing a little bit more, a little smarter play.
Have to be very careful though. Both flashes down on either side for these bot lanes.
Ooh. Avoid the charm. That is a key to success. Wayless has been fantastic in this mid lane so far, not giving up much of anything, but he did have to get the double Dorans just to keep the extra damage up. Now, San is low. Double tap, spent. XQ taking tower shots. Whoa, Chuen, does he get it? The teleport's coming in. San finally will go down, but they took a lot of shots. Chuen might not get out of this alive. No, he will not. Dada's going to go down. They spent a lot for it, though. This tower, they could poke it down maybe, but that was really sloppy by LGD, despite the fact that they came up 2 for 1.
It wasn't necessarily LGD's fault. It was a brilliant play from OMG. It was actually a great placed flay from Dada7 that disengaged the flag and dragged CC knockup from Chuen.
I'm not sure they really needed the teleport, though. That's what I'm curious about. I think they might have had it regardless. Yeah, that just, it was sort of unnecessary, and it gives going a bit of an advantage now.
Well, if Chuen had survived, but again, it comes back to that Thresh outplay by getting the flay and allowing him to tank more shots. They would have had 17 there, so they would have immediately transitioned that into a dragon and had a numbers advantage, which is why they pulled their top lane. So, excuse me, sorry, this is why we drink water.
Hydrate. It's the message of the day. Now, speaking of dragon, OMG is attempting this right now, so what could have been LGD's is now being attempted by OMG. The flag is in the pit. They will be able to see this warding out as well. And he could come in to try and go for the steal, but I don't think he will risk it right now. San providing a little bit of nice zone, and it goes down early smite, but it doesn't matter. They still managed to pick it off.
Doesn't have the cooldown. He flagged too early.
Yeah, a little bit.
And of course, it expired before the damage was low enough that he could come in with the smite, and then by the time it expired, he didn't have it back up to attempt.
Yeah, it's a misplay. Just really simple little mistakes costing them what could have been an objective. Now 17 having to spend his dash to avoid Go-Going. That's just a scary moment when Go-Going gets a rune prison on you. You just want to bail out as fast as possible. You can see the fear sometimes. Whoa, Dada burning his flash. XQ also, they get the Winter's Bite proc on that. Oh, Dada, he's burning down. Can he go? Go! Not enough. Wow. Closest we have seen Dada7 to dying, and that's saying something. Man, that is really unfortunate for XQ. I think he really wanted that.
Well, what's curious here is you see that PYL is now level 6. The fact that they didn't just wait for Braum to have his ultimate available.
Oh, and then he completely whiffs it. Oh, they're going to go for this tower dive. I don't know if this was really as wise as it might have seemed. PYL is going to go down. Oh, he flashes, narrowly avoiding XQ, finally going down with the reverse collapse from Cool and Loveling. They managed to get a double kill onto that Ahri for the price of a Kog'Maw. Not too shabby.
And that was the issue. They wanted to take these champions to hold Cool in place to deny his roam. Gets loose and gets that double kill. That's a huge boom in power for Ahri.
Oh, here comes Chuen right now. Flag and Drag Go-Going is going to flash away from it. So the gank attempt is foiled, but they get a summoner for free.
See what Cool is able to do with this now. Of course, hasn't gone back and spent his power, so technically him and Walish still on even footing.
Yeah, let's go back to Walish here.
Coming around for the gank, though.
There's the flash. And he saw Dada in the brush as well. Didn't want any part of what was about to unfold and immediately unloads that. They don't hesitate to use those off. Now, Loveling has been pretty decent at getting out of troubling situations, but he hasn't affected the map nearly as much as Chuen has here. Just the dragon, really. That's kind of his claim to fame in this game so far.
Yeah. He had a bit of an early struggle, so trying to come back from that. And of course, it's a Kha'Zix versus a Jarvan, and the gank ability there. He does have his ultimate available, so see if we get more successful uses out of that.
Yeah, now this tower should fall over. It's a little more than a stiff breeze, but not much, as XQ should be able to just tap that into oblivion. And they're just going to let the minions finish the job. So, with that first tower going down for LGD, they do have a little bit more map control, but there's no dragon to take. Do they move towards the mid lane now? Do they focus on the top, do a lane swap? Or do they just keep pushing in the bot to try and shut San down? It hasn't really worked extremely well. Yes, they've gotten kills, but not quite enough.
They are going to go mid simply because San's not going to push out the wave. Because he's on a hyper carry like Kog'Maw, it's to every benefit that he just gets to safely farm that lane at no cost. You'll see Dada7 will now become a roam Thresh. And again, they're going to try to utilize the strength of Lucian and burning down towers with his double tap passive, as well as the wave clear from Orianna.
Yeah, smart move on their part, and they're actually going to be able to answer this turret really quickly. All 5 members of LGD shoving it in as fast as possible. San's still trying to get up to that level, but LGD is forcing the hand of their opponents right now. It looks like Loveling might come in for a bit of an engage, but PYL going to zone him off with the Winter's Bite, and they continue to shove this one in. San needs to get there fast, but he is so down, so far behind at this point, and the only real threat is Ahri.
LGD recognizing their power spike, and when they're strong as a unit. They have a wombo combo composition. Lucian is really in his moment right now, and the fact of the matter is that you're competing against Ryze Kog'Maw. They want to extend the lane phase, and LGD says, no, you're going to play our game.
Yeah.
And we're going to team fight now.
Okay, baiting out that ultimate. That was really nice, but it was close. For just a second.
See what they're able to do here, though. I don't think another tower, at least not a second-tier tower, is available to them.
No, not quite. And San has been able to get himself up a decent bit of farm, but he's still a bit of a ways away from that Trinity Force, and that's a bit of an issue when LGD is kind of forcing you to defend on all fronts.
Dragon is up in 2 minutes. We'll see how much closer San gets to that power spike for him
2v1
now
in the top.
lane.
17 does not mess around. Instant explosive cast to zone Loveling and Go going off. Flashing forward, Loveling. He is over-committing to this. Cool's going to be able to pick this one off, but he tanks a couple of tower shots on the way out as well. They still send 3 members for this, and LGD is not answering for it.
But look at what 3 members came, and look where OMG finds their strong point.
They do, okay. XQ is answering in the bot, so that will help them out just a little bit here, but by the same token, there's also Dada to defend. So, oh wow, up in the top. Hello, Chuen finds Go going. Get in the cage and fight me. Maybe not. Okay, I'm running. Flash forward, nicely played.
Nice job from Go going and Chuen right there.
Oh.
Found the
oh, the shockwave! Oh my goodness, Dada! There's the box down. They're trying to zone away San. He's not in a good spot either. Oh boy, that could have been quite a lot worse. Somehow, everybody on OMG limps away from that fight.
The fact of the matter is that the Gragas ultimate wasn't available. If it had been, that would have been instantly 2 kills down.
Yeah, and he had to use it defensively, still going down anyways. But nonetheless, LG is just looking like the better team-fighting team right now. They built a comp around it, and they're really making it work, forcing OMG to answer them.
Again, it's recognizing when are we strong, what are the win conditions of our composition. It's the team fighting, group up, find the 5v5. OMG falling back into old habits, the fact that they had that 3-man gank squad, the Bash brothers going, Cool, and Drug. When these guys are involved, when they're on the same page and they're working together, OMG thrives, but LGD, it's a team, it's cause and effect. If you expend so many resources on this section of the map, we're just going to play the other side of it.
Well, and you got to think, too, that you need everyone in the Bash Bros to kind of be doing a significantly even job, and so far all the kills have pretty much been gobbled up by Cool. Now he might get another one here. PYL is pretty low. The hook will not connect. Dada just barely missing. Amazing how many times they've really focused him out, just realizing that there's that latent threat. If you focus the shot caller, it makes the team fighting that much more difficult. But LGD has been in this boat before, and they are persevering. Dragon is now available for contest. Should be going over to LGD right now, as no one on OMG is even making a move for it.
Zero vision control of it. They just aren't aware.
They give it up
Going to be
completely.
a free objective.
I mean, that's a really nice play by them, considering they gave one up earlier on, so they will answer back, get themselves a little bit more of a gold lead. They are having their top outer tower taken pretty low by this, and this should be picked up by Go going. Even so, LGD is looking like the better team this game.
I actually think it's far more important. Although, is he going to get this? Yeah, okay.
He will, but he's spending a lot of time on it.
They're trading the global tower for the global dragon, but
and they're going to get another tower.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. They go all the way into the dive. San, oh, get in the box! I don't think so. San able to flash it out. Teleport now coming in. Loveling, they are scrambling to try and save this one. Tower's already at half health. Go going coming in. The ball, it's going to go in. Go going. He's down. LGD 17 manages to pick him up. Loveling jumping away from sudden death. PYL on the hook, but that's not who they were looking for. And this tower should fall anytime soon. LGD marching up the mid lane.
I was just about to commend OMG with their positioning and how they played that fight for the dragon, but I know, as soon as you start to
no,
say
but even when you didn't. Oh no, Chuen, he's in the box as well, instantly being evaporated. San will manage to pick him up. Could have been cool as well. But the Triforce, Kog'Maw is starting to grow a few more wings, and LGD, that's the signal to back away. They did manage to get the last outer turret in the mid, and they can easily push on that top now as it's so far out there. They just have to defend this next wave push.
We didn't even say anything nice about LGD.
Yeah, we were about to. The game is reading our minds.
Just preemptively.
Yep, so OMG have to start answering back objectives. They've not managed to take more than one tower so far, and they gave up an outer one, or an inner one for it, excuse me. Cool now trying to make the play. Ooh, nice dash away, Gragas. Fat Man can move. And they just disengaged that with Kazakh's W. LGD is just playing the defense and the offense that much better.
It's surprising because China is known as the region that fights, and they force you to fight them. You could say, well, oh, if I just outmaneuver China, if I just play the map, I could just strategically win. But they bring so many elements to force you to fight them. They bring things like Jarvan, like Skarner, like Braum. OMG, though, completely void of any real hard engage. They're relying entirely on the charm and the death sentence from Dada 7. And again, the last time that they relied on Dada 7 to be their #1 engagement is how the games got drawn out and how OMG, you know, stalls. And that feels like this is the main problem right now. LGD, they have so many tools that say, okay, this is a bad fight, we don't want to fight it, walk away from them. This is a fight that we want. They force OMG that there's nothing they can do to get away. They have to get away from the Cataclysm and the Glacial Fissure.
Yeah, that's true. It's really difficult for them to take a safe lane into fight, and that's the problem, that this Wombo combo composition LGD's built has demanded so much attention, but they can't really answer in anything but picks. Now Chuen managing to flag and drag his way out of danger as Loveling is trying to make a play. Mid lane now going to be under fire, but this top is going to get pushed in as well, so outer for outer. Nice even trade, but LGD is just looking for that last one. Ooh, Chuen is pretty low right here. Maybe he can save this tower, but Cool manages to get the outer on the bot, so maybe OMG will come up with a slightly better one on this. Hard to say, though. This is getting a little chaotic right here.
It is far more important that OMG secure the mid-tier tower because it grants, again, the most passive map control.
Well, they haven't done it yet. They gave up a top for a bot, and there's still a two-man push squad. Wayless, he's low. Cool, though. Tanks a few too many tower shots. Doesn't quite click on the lantern. The synergy's just not quite there. Cool, he's in trouble. Chuan, there's the ultimate coming out of PYL. Only going to connect on a couple of minions. Chuan having to back away, forced to use his flash. Summoner heal, burned by San, but there is a big push going on up top. San, oh no, he is little cog all on his own. PYL, way less than 17. Going to be able to find him, and Kathleen Surprise will come out way less. Just flashing away at the last moment. With style, XQ is in a bit of trouble, though, up in the top. We'll try to get a little bit burst on, but the 2v1 of Loveling and Going will shut him down.
But at what cost right there? It looks like LGD's going to back off and not take any objectives off of that.
Yeah, I think losing...
Can we talk about the brilliance of Chuan, actually? It was unfortunate, too. He initially went in on Jarvan. He waited until Cool had used all 3 procs of his Spirit Rush before he pushed forward, but Cool landed a clutch charm to turn the damage back on. But you could tell that Chuan was looking for the hard engage. He was waiting for the Spirit Rush to be down so he could find the Cataclysm.
Yeah, he's definitely playing a very smart game. And, you know, talk about Chinese teams trying to fight, forcing it all the time. This is a team that makes the fight come to them, and they know how to play their composition out perfectly. This is what OMG's having such a hard time with. The team that plays an incredible strategic game is just slowly being out-rotated. I mean, the gold is not really all that different right now. The towers are really what's truly telling the story here. LGD just taking the better objective game right now. Dragon up in about a minute, and that will be the next contestable objective.
We're starting to come up into that time of the game, though, that Baron needs to be watched out for.
Oh, yeah. 20 minutes
especially with
is
this
never
series
too
of
early.
items that we have out.
That's a lot of damage. I would say LGD has a better shot at sneaking it, but they're not the type of team that just rushes a Baron when they feel like it.
Well, you're also competing against Kazakh's Rise and Kog'Maw.
They don't want to throw away their world's chances that easily. That would be bad. Especially considering they don't really need it to take fights at this point. They're perfectly happy taking a 5v5 if they need to, which gives them the chance to force this Dragon right now. All 5 members moving in that general direction. I think OMG is just going to give this one up.
They can't fight, especially because they don't have any vision, which is
they might try, though. Oh, here comes the collapse. LGD.
Who's on the opposite side?
Yeah,
this would be
I think this Dragon's going to go down. Wow! Okay, Loveling. Wow, that's a Kazakh's W. Nicely done.
With the bend it like Beckham around the side.
I don't think even he expected that.
Oh
wow,
they're
gonna take the fight.
Poke.
Yeah, that was actually really funny. I can't believe he did that. That's amazing.
He threw it in between 2 people.
Well, they dodged and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna." Oh, the Dragon's gone. And Chuen forgot. Well, he did smite it. Now, okay, moving towards this Baron pit here. They're just trying to set up a pick. I think that OMG's a little too smart for this.
Well,
they got to go back to defend the mid.
Baron warded.
Yeah.
And this is why you can't set up picks on Baron Pit unless you bring the proper vision control and sweepers.
Well, they have 4 sweepers, but they're almost all on cooldown right now, so that's not going to help too much. Looking to make a play around the map, but OMG is really kiting them around here and not letting them really get an angle they can engage on. PYL charmed up, but they don't want to take that fight just yet. Loveling taking a bit of poke from
OMG is
XQ.
entirely reliant on the counter engage unless Cool finds an assassination Ahri pick. But really what they want is they want the Glacial Fissure and the Cataclysm and the Shockwave used preemptively or subparly, and then find a re-engage or a chase down.
Yeah, it's going to come down to do the Cataclysm Shockwaves land. If they do, I think LGD wins the fight 100% of the time.
Absolutely. But anytime you can get that wombo combo
That's
off.
true, but just because they're in like a slight lead position, they've been taking the aggressive stance against OMG here, and the coordination does seem a little bit off over game to game. I mean, even though OMG had won our last one, they had some trouble. That Baron was not necessarily in their best interests. I think OMG really has to do a lot of thinking about how they coordinate together as a team. At this point, they're just kind of relying on the mechanical aptitude that they have individually and just sort of capitalizing on whatever they might find here. So a little bit uncharacteristic of them, like historically.
A big issue for them, not just this this game, but this entire series, has been lackluster warding. They don't have enough information to make the heavy roams and the plays that they're attempting to make.
Yeah, that has been a big problem for them. And they did get a decent bit of ward coverage in and around the Baron, which, you know, of course, allowed them to avoid being picked off like that. But LGD making a lot of roams this way. Chuan going to find Loveling, takes a little bit more poke than he bargained for. Dada also there will zone him off. Cool, making a move to it. And I think this is going to be kind of a cat and mouse game around the map for a little while longer.
I feel like it's going to be a stall out while the team circle Baron
Oh,
Dada
they
7
hook
finding
PYL Loveling. He's going to go real low. Goes down to the calling from Execute, canceling it quite early. Dada is on the wrong side of the map, but it is a 5v4. No jungler available. Flashing forward, PYL getting the Brawl Molt off. Not going to connect on to going. They move towards this. Cataclysm is down. Can they get the ball? Chuan is low. He gets the protection. He goes down. Cool blows him up. It's still a 4v4 now. Junglers are gone. Can they push the mid? LGD trying to make it happen. Going, trying to set up the flank.
Cool's back, trying to get back into position for the wave clear. Wayless does have blue buff.
They're going to push on forward. Okay. If they can get a Thresh hook out, Dada might be able to instigate this one. Loveling is back, and Chuan is not, so they will back away from this. Should be able to grab themselves a blue buff on the way out. Dragon not up for the taking. Oh, never mind. Back away from that. Okay. Here we go. Let's do that. Yeah, they got to defend their tower, though. OMG should be able to poke this one down. They don't have a minion wave, and they're kind of uncertain about the flank possibility, so the hesitation cost them, once again.
Again, they don't have the proper vision in place for them to make these plays.
They will
and
move
they're
over
just
to the
frankly
Baron.
getting out-rotated.
Okay. Just a little bit of ward clearing out. Speaking of clearing, sweet 30 gold in Dada 7's pocket after that. But, yeah, LGD is just making the slightly better plays, I feel.
They've got more money to allow them to acquire more information to make these plays.
So you're saying you can buy info with money.
You buy wards. They gave you information.
And
You
then you
make
get 30 gold when you
rotations
clear them.
based on the vision that these wards give you.
Well, that is the strategical 101.
And that has been the story of this series.
Yep. You think that wards just sort of like they store the information and it's like directly translatable to money, so when you kill it, that's the gold you're getting? It's like an exchange rate.
I'd like to think of it that way.
Oh, works. Oh, way less. What are you doing? Loveling will try to go for him. Doesn't have the damage. And again, LGD continues to kite around the map. Now they're left their tower undefended here. Realizing their mistake, they will go back to this. A lot of poke being dealt. There's the ball. Doesn't quite have enough range to get in on that. That tower not quite going to go down. Oh, this is a mistake. Son is caught out. Can he even get the tower before he goes down? Tries for Wayless. A Cathian surprise. And Wayless gets a heal off. Doesn't quite go down. They managed to pick off OMG's AD carry. They're making their moves over to the Baron pit. Still a 50-50 toss-up with Loveling there, but they're going to start it nonetheless.
Loveland has to find the steal right here. Son way out of position. The greed for that first tier tower. Baron burning down very quickly.
Oh, they're going to back off. I think they're a little bit worried about Cool right now. Rightly so. Oh, here he goes. Charm? Oh, just whiffs it.
Where do they go from here?
Very good question. LGD, they may not have been able to get the timing off of the capitalization there, but if they keep playing like this all game, those kind of mistakes that OMG is making will not be tolerated. They're able to just answer, and with the death timers slowly creeping up as the game goes on, it's going to result in something big.
The window of relevancy for the power of their composition, though,
Finally, they get the turret
somewhat
mid.
shrinking. Orianna will always be strong. Obviously, the Wombo combo of the Orianna Cataclysm will always be strong. Lucian's damage will start to teeter off in comparison to Kog'Maw's. Likewise, that Rise will start to become a problem.
Way less. He's going to go down. The ball doesn't even go. And that's going to be a pick-off. Cool manages to get that one. Now this Dragon becomes a sticky situation for LGD as they look for a way to get back into this. OMG looking for a way back into the game. Barrel coming down for a little bit of vision range. He will wait to blow it, but should be able to go down without too much of a fight. Barrel comes in, not going to be able to get the steal off. Cool now looking for a hunt. Finds PYL. They get him hooked up. He gets the ulti off. It's still a 5v4, though. PYL, they leave him for dead. And that's a 2 kills and a Dragon for OMG. Right back into the lead. Gold-wise,
Cool
at least.
finding the aggression right there. A fabulous pick, not just on PYL, but of course starting off that entire Dragon snowball of gold on the pick for Wayless.
Yep, now OMG, without PYL in the picture, they're going to get a little bit more cleanup on these wards. Should be able to defend. And they've effectively stalled out. LGD, like you mentioned, the window of relevancy was closing, and I think that kind of indicates right there. Not only did they get an accidental catch-out, way less just really out of position, but OMG were able to successfully scare LGD from trying to even answer back.
And yes, they're down in towers and they're down in global objectives, but if you actually look across the board in the CS, particularly in that top lane, that's where a lot of their surplus gold is sitting. Look at that. That's 150 to 219 on Going's Rise. The fact that Rise, again, an item-dependent champion, his Roa at this point is fully stacked, hasn't upgraded his tier yet into the Seraphs. When that does happen, that's another big power spike for this champion.
And Going's Rise, you know, stuff of legends, absolutely terrifying to deal with. He hasn't come up incredibly big in like a dueling situation, but that's just because there have been so many crazy fights. 17! Whoa! Dashing away as fast as he can. And that's an ult for an ult at the very least. Cool will burn his in pursuit and escape. OMG trying to turn up the pace of this game just a little bit, realizing there might be a moment of weakness for LGD. They need to take this 5-man while they still have the window to do it. Xuan looking to make a play. Oh, the Lantern out to safety, and that's a Cataclysm down. OMG has to be happy about that one. Baron pit control completely up for grabs with a number of wards just littered around it.
LG making the call, knowing that Cool is not in the area, so they lost a lot of their AoE damage as well as their hard engage. Tried to fight a hard engage of their own. Good Lantern from Data7 disengages that, but good read from LGD is to try to make a situation happen.
Yeah, they're really just going for baiting OMG over and over again, and it has worked in games past, so there's no reason why it should stop now, but OMG just getting a little bit smarter about this. Vision control back in the pockets of LGD, although they are standing on a ward, unfortunately. So that one is going to be fairly obvious. Does anyone have a sweeper?
They do have sweepers.
They're not using them, though. There we go. Oh, guys, jig is up. Walk away. Something's funny, apparently. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, 17 is not the greatest split pusher, but he does have a teleport available, and this is drawing the attention of Cool, although he's got to be careful not to go down to this Ahri. 5-0 on this game, has to spend his ultimate just to walk it out. Not the best result for what he was trying to accomplish there.
So Cool continuously ganking the teleport on the side of LGD, able to walk away just because, again, the power of Going's Rise right now. Should they attempt a Baron, you have the poke and shack safety from San's Kog'Maw, as well as the AoE collective damage should LGD decide to kind of narrow themselves into a small little pit of that Rise coming down. So kind of an interesting style, because typically you would say you would match up the teleport with the teleport, but obviously OMG is saying, you know, it's fine, we can give up this resource of this Ahri because we're so strong and so protective of this pit by ourselves.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see. Okay, we'll have to put that on hold because PYL is just in a world of hurt, but his team comes to the rescue, forcing OMG to back away. That is a tanky Braum, and he proves it. So, again, the picks just aren't quite working. OMG doesn't necessarily need them at this point because they should be able to take the 5v5, still taking it very cautiously because they don't want to throw away this lead that they have.
The issue is that, again, their hard engages on Dada 7 or Cool's Charm.
Oh, they're back into it. Now Chuen, he says, get in the cage, Dada. Fights him out. XQ manages to get that kill. However, Loveling answers back on to Chuan. It's a 4v4 for the time being. PYL burning away, but he's staying alive. There's a culling being spent. XQ just trying to provide a little extra zone. Cool gets out by the skin of his teeth yet again. Perfect game on Ahri so far.
But this is them for one trade, even when LGD actually engages it, and that's the thing. OMG want to fight, but they don't have the tools to force LGD to fight them.
Yeah, I just am worried for OMG because they might have the late game scaling on their side. They just seem to be unwilling to take the action that needs to, just trying to continue to set up picks, and LGD keeps eking their way forward and trying to make a play, staying relevant in the gold game. And I feel like this game is going to stall out for a bit.
And this is exactly what we saw when OMG faced off against Starhorn Royal Club. That game, I believe they actually even won that end of the game. It probably lasted 15 minutes longer than it needed to, simply because Dada 7, the Thresh, they only had the death sentence, and it was just about, okay, eventually we'll get it, but it took that long to connect on the pick that they needed.
Yeah, that was kind of curious in all honesty. So, dead evening kills. Oh boy, speaking of scary, 17. He has to use that ult every single time Cool runs at him. Talk about putting the fear. Oh, but back to what you were saying, of course.
The win conditions. I feel like OMG's compositions are so one-dimensional in what they're offering as far as what needs to happen, and LGD are bringing so much more. So yeah, OMG is slowly kind of outscaling, but they're stronger right now, but they can't flex their strength because they can't lock them down. LGD is so squirrely. It's just, there's so many other avenues for LGD to still come back and win this game. You know, through a siege, through a pick of their own, through a 5v5.
Well, they still got the tower advantage. Now, OMG is grabbing this dragon. Very sneaky maneuver, but they risk giving up a really sudden Baron. LGD may not be the team to rush this, but it's 34 minutes in. They have the damage if they decide to go for it, and it looks like they will. Starting it off right off the bat. Here comes Loveling, though. It's going to come down to, can he pull the smite steal? Can the rest of the team get there in time? Baron is melting. This is such a dangerous maneuver. Teleport coming in. It doesn't get stolen. Loveling goes down, jumps into the pit too early. Going, though. Can he provide the cover fire damage? Xuen zoning the rest of OMG. So far, it's a 1 for 2, and LGD staying alive, or are they? 17, he's down, so is Wayless. The Baron call proves disastrous, although XQ does answer back with a couple kills of his own, and Cool and San are chasing down XQ as we speak. Can San get the play off? XQ's low, he does get it! San coming up with a pick, and it's an ace for 3.
LGD grabbed the Baron, but at what cost? Completely ace. The 2 carries of OMG still standing. It does give them gold and a leg back up into this, but they're unable to use any of the strength, the region, the superficial power that the Baron gives you to crack any of these objectives.
Yeah, that was a complete waste of the Baron buff. However, they did manage to secure it. Loveling kind of off on his smite timing. It's always a toss-up 50-50 who's going to go for it. I think Wayless melted far too fast to be able to use his shockwave. That could have turned the fight in their favor big time because OMG was clumping up on that. So as a result, focusing the correct targets, OMG neutralizes the effectiveness that LGD had there.
Well, the amount of resources that OMG expends to take out the amount of resources on the side of LGD, it was cool that pretty much nullified 2 people on his own. Wayless being one of them by hitting a very nice charm, just immediately deleting people and allowing San to just kind of push through the back line of LGD.
Yeah, that was really long short of it. And XQ nearly got away, but San with the chase down. So Kog'Maw 6-5-5 on this game, gotten up to that scary point. Not quite as flawless as he was in the previous, but San nonetheless has really proved himself, and Cool stepped up. It seems like when one member isn't doing quite so hot, the other one kind of just jumps up to another big level. Cool playing out an amazing Ahri game.
I feel like, though, that the Baron is gone and done.
Oh, no, 17. Well, it's a lot of burst on both sides, but it was all out of the tank, so Cool manages to get himself his 8th of the game. And yeah, with Baron buff off the table, too, this is kind of makes the game a little more one-dimensional for the next few minutes. I think OMG should be able to shove this one in, but they're still afraid to check into that wombo combo of LGD.
They should be looking for the siege. They finally got the pick onto the teleport in the bot lane, so we should see OMG start to rotate down there, push that tower down with Kog'Maw's range.
Cool is able to create a lot of pressure just on his own because he demands somebody's attention no matter what. Has pretty decent wave clear as well, so this is really playing to it. Loveling has been zoning pretty effectively, I think. They're afraid to deal with him now, even though he doesn't quite have a huge ton of damage. I feel like he could just build pure tank from here on out.
That will probably be his goal. Do you see the culling coming across, trying to zone OMG off of the tower?
Save it, but I mean, it's at what cost? Now Dada7 has to burn his flash. Chuan getting his ultimate off. BYL, oh my goodness, they get him knocked up. They really want that Thresh pick, and they should be able to secure it, but meanwhile, they lose a second-tier tower for it. LGD misstepping by committing very heavily to the anti-siege and losing a second-tier mid. Nothing here to take.
So many key ultimates down. The fact that the Cataclysm and the Glacial Fissure were all used. Why not just throw the Shockwave on top of that? Looking around for picks, but can we examine LGD's jungle right now? That is lit up like a Christmas tree. Wards in every single area.
Yep. Red side wards all around, and that is not a good way to be able to take fights when your opponents have that much vision of you. They will make a move up to the top, the last standing outer tier turret. They still maintain a slim lead in the towers, but that could not be lasting very long, especially if they go taken down here. PYL tanking a lot of damage here. They want to make sure they can do things. Flash is flying left and right. Chuan has to burn his to get over the wall. XQ's low. Finally, they take down PYL, and they also manage to get XQ out of there. LGD bailing as fast as they can. 17 is already down. One more pickup for Cool. One more drop in the bucket for OMG, and it's 3 kills for nil. Cool chasing the remaining members off, limping away. Get out of our jungle.
So, if we examine how LGD was actually moving through the jungle up until the point, clumped together, every time someone was about to face check a bush, immediately PYL affects them with his stand behind me, jumps on them, gives them those added resistances. As soon as they get close to the tower, they split around that wall, and then again, Cool, 10-0-5 on this Ahri. He is worth so many members of LGD. It was a 1v3, and he just melts through all of them, while the rest of OMG comes around and picks off the stragglers of LGD.
Yeah, that was a really strange split. They had no need to do that. It was unnecessary danger. Shockwave will connect. That might be what they're looking for. Oh my goodness, San will still get the tower down, and they're just going for the desperate struggle. Chuan trying to keep him occupied. Teleport coming in. PYL gets the ult off. Doesn't connect onto San. They do manage to shut down Cool and get Dada7. San finally falling down. That's the wombo combo fight that you needed to take. Way less. They gave him up for it, but that would be worth. Loveling is going to be able to get away. But what can LGD do with this slight window of a lead?
It won't grant them anything. They can try to push up and affect the death timers for this inhib tower. They might be able to take the tower, but the inhib going's in place, still on the rise, has decent wave clear on that champion, and he's also very tanky.
I think they're going to make a move towards this bot side. They have a much larger wave pushing here. Now Dada coming up in 9 seconds. Can OMG's 2 members defend here while they wait for their support to get up? I think this tower is going to go down. They're going to try to take the fight. Oh, Loveling, he's trying to make something happen too, but they've got him under tower range. Chuan taking a lot of damage, 17 as well, and now Dada's back in the picture. 9 seconds till Cool. They have to bail out of this. Chuan is low. Flag and drag away. They're not going to get anything for it. And Loveling trying to make sure something else can happen, trying to set up another pick. PYL's low, so is Dada. This could go either way. XQ with the outplay, can he do it? Loveling limping out of the fight, tries to come back on in, being dodged out. XQ will get the kill, but they are melting now that Ahri is back in the picture, and going and crew lead the charge to take down 3 more members of LGD. 17 just slowly walking away, and they don't get even a tower for their efforts.
LGD just trying to force too much right there. Yeah, they had a good death timer right there, but you were still trying to shove into Going's rise. The fact of the matter is when they got their big power swing by picking up those free kills, they were so deep on their own side of the map that they had to walk across that time spent. The stall that Dada7 going and Drug did long enough for Cool to get involved in the back half of that. The punish on LGD.
Yeah, the kills keep flying left and right, but it's only under their own towers, and with the naked inhibitor in the middle, LGD has to be so careful not to give anything else up. Dragon, they can't afford to even contest at this point. It's going to go straight into the pockets of OMG. Little extra global gold, 41.5 minutes into this game. Pretty getting close to those full builds, though. I don't think there's really going to be that much more need for gold in the next 10 minutes if this game lasts that long.
I mean, at this point, LGD have been outcomped as far as some of their damage dealers. That said, you can never discount the wombo combo. This Orianna's damage will be massive if she's able to lay down all the skills effectively.
Well, the Cataclysm's been coming up big, too.
Exactly, and with Baron up, that's going to be the next big point of contention and focus for these two teams. It's a small area of confined AoE space.
I think it looks like LGD can't afford to make the aggressive play and instead has to react to what OMG is going to do at this point, which is kind of the coin flip from what we were seeing in most of the set. But if they do that, and then they can come in there off the back of the Baron having softened them up, they should be able to win the fight. Now, OMG knows this, but do they still try to attempt it, or do they just keep pushing in?
I feel like they should just siege at this point. Again, the weakness of OMG is there's not too many tools in their composition to force LGD to fight.
Oh, they will get a jump on a going, though. They're going really hard for him. They get the zone out, manage to find the kill, and now here's Dada and Loveling trying to make XQ melt, and they do. With a little bit of help from Cool. San's going to get that ball. Is going to connect only onto San. Going into Cataclysm. Chuan has to bail out. He doesn't have the damage. This is OMG leading the charge on the fight. Dada with the flay. Can they get the pick? 17 charmed up. Dada staying alive just barely, and they will be able to get the 3-for-1 so far. Overcommitment. PYL having to flash away, nowhere near his own base. The chase commences, but all they have to do is push on in. They've already got a numbers advantage, and OMG just looking to make it more. Oh, Cool. They get the charm off. Not going to be enough damage. This could get a little bit hairy. I think they will back away, and that seemed a bit like a misplay. They might be able to get the Baron here, though.
They'll be able to shred this down well enough. Well, there could be a steal. I don't know.
This is just crazy. No, I think they have to give this one up. Wayless can't get involved in this. Loveling will finally get the smite off, and they should have just left here, as we are going to see burning down. It's going to be lovely. Can they get him? It's Wayless coming up with a kill. They do give up PYL for it. Wayless, I think he's going to be gone after that one, but they do manage to answer back on the jungler, removing one Baron buff from the equation, and the ace comes in right as XQ comes back up. So far, OMG still in a pretty big lead, but they haven't managed to do much with it on the towers.
We've talked about, though, that OMG, their strength of the composition is the counter-engage. The issue that LGD and the mistake that they made there is they expended so much on the tankiest member of OMG, taking down Going and that Rise, overextending, and San and Cool completely untouched in the back line.
Yeah, there was really a misplay on who to focus in that fight, and as a result, the damage dealers were completely left untouched to wreck everyone on LGD. This first inhibitor is going to go down. I don't think they have anything really to contest it, and the damage is just too much. It gets shredded away. 44.5 minutes. Finally, OMG are able to crack through that, make themselves a move towards the top with the last outer turret.
As this game gets longer, I have to be very careful about these death timers. Even if another team fight falls on an opposite side of the map, it could be a very quick march up a mid lane to end a game in either direction. Again, you have to always respect the Orianna Shockwave, so OMG being very patient with how they go about this.
Slow and methodical wins the race, and they want to make this world spot. It is looking pretty grim for LGD, but if they can hold on, they might still be able to take a fight. Baron buff is deterring them, however, and well, they're not moving to where they need to mobilize. There we go. Pings are down, boys. Got to get in position.
Meanwhile, Allen in the mid lane creating another pressure point.
Yeah, he's been really effective at just kind of splitting the pressure here. Not as a huge damage dealer or even as a sustained tank, just as really a huge annoyance.
He just stands to the side and he repeatedly throws his flow.
And he stole Dragon, too.
That
needs to be on a highlight reel. That was incredible.
Good wave coming out from Wayless, of course, trying to siege into an Orianna, which is why they're trying to play a split pressure game.
Tickles him with the calling.
Continuously going to throw those super minions into that mid wave.
Yeah, now, the mid wave, yeah, can start knocking on the doors. That was the problem that they had last time. Well, at least that they had in the first game. LGD was able to answer that one back. Oh, charmed up PYL. They get the hook off on him. Can they pull it out? He's already down. Cool. Oh, they get the burst off, though. San is in a little bit of trouble. Chuan has to flash out of his own pit. Wayless is going low. 17's going down. It's only XQ now, and it looks like OMG is going to be able to answer this one right on back. They take the fight they were looking for, and that is going to be it. It looks like the third seed for China's World Championships hopes are going to rest on OMG once again. They should be able to take this without much trouble.
So close for LG to come down into the very last game, but OMG staying true. They are one of the top teams in China, have been since the creation of the team, and partly in the creation of the LPL. Cool, coming up huge this game. 17-1 and 11 on Ari.
Absolutely massive. So they will manage to knock that one down after going down one game. OMG slow and steady, methodically answering right on back. And really, they played miraculously around that Wombo combo. Never let them got locked up on it more than once or twice. And there were so many chances. But a huge, huge play coming out of OMG. And they will be taking that third world spot, and they deserve it.
Welcome to Worlds, boys. It's EDG, Starhorn Royal Club, and OMG.
Yep.
We have one more best of 3 after this match. It is going to be for the first place seed and second place seed. Starhorn Royal Club will have a best of 3 with Edward Gaming.
And we will, of course, be seeing that coming up in just a moment or so. So we will be taking a quick break, guys. Thank you once again for sticking with us throughout all of it. It has been an awesome night of games, and it will be one more set. Edward Gaming taking on Starhorn. I cannot wait to find out who's the number 1 and who is the number 2 seed. We already know the number 3, but we'll find out the rest just after this.